So I would suggest tomorrow that you go down and you fill that application out and explain to them your situation so they can get you moving forward faster. Since the list is opening next week, you might as well do it tomorrow.
What I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping, because I'm also fleeing a domestic violence situation. So I was kind of thrown in here, you know what I mean, unexpectedly. You know, I went from a one-bedroom apartment to the size of a place that was the size of my bathroom.
Yes. Yes, I totally get that. No, there's many programs out there that right now that can help you, as well as your insurance. I don't know if you already know that or not, but your insurance can help you through everything that you're going through, and they will pay your deposits and everything through your insurance.
Hey, Tina, just to jump in, I think it's 6:30. But technically, it's technically the start of the neighborhood meeting. Also, I think you are getting some, you're kind of starting to cut out. So.
Yeah, Tina, a lot of times when we're on these Zoom calls, yours the most, it just goes a lot.
Terrible. I wonder if I turn my internet on, if that'll make a difference.
It might.
I'm going to turn the internet on and see if that helps. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So I just want to wait a few minutes to see if more people are going to come, because it seems like the crowd is mostly from the city / residents of the village villages. So we're going to see if anybody. I mean, I sent out letters to like everybody that was on those the mailing list that the city sent out. I sent out letters to everybody on that list, separate letters with the notice that you guys put on your website for the link.
Sweet.
So like, I'm wondering if more people are going to show up or not. So
the people from my village on here, I can't speak.
I don't know. I mean, this was meant to be like for the local neighborhood. So like the Puget neighborhood. Okay. So,
well, I told all of our villages both to try to on internet. So
okay, I'm just gonna give it a couple minutes to give people some time to join in case they are gonna be a little bit late. I think giving it at least 2 more minutes would be good.
Sounds good.
But it is a little bit interesting that it's like just the village, the villages, and the city.
Look at the stickers I made for the village refrigerators.
Nice. Love them.
Yeah, because we at both villages.
They have some really cool t-shirts that say Unity on them.
Yeah, because at both villages we have kind of like a fridge that we designate for like community food versus like, here's my specific food, and so.
Here's a community fridge sticker.
Yeah.
And then here's the one that I did. This one for not to keep This one's just to label your food, of course. And then I did one to also, this is the community one.
Oh, I love that.
Oops.
That's super cute.
Yep. And then
super cute.
Okay, so we're, I guess, give it 30 more seconds or, okay, we're at 6:35. Okay. So,
shoot, I was on mute that whole time? Oh, man.
Yeah, you were.
Hi, Marcos.
Hello. Oh, my goodness. I'm actually on. Wait, how come I can't get this? I thought I did the lighting right. I guess I did not do the lighting right. Oh, well.
Okay, so I guess even though it seems to be all volunteers / residents of the villages / city staff, I want to let you guys know that this meeting is being recorded, and that anything that we do is transparent, and we put it out to the public. And so that our community meeting is in the same category. So I really wish there would have been more people from the neighborhood here. But in any case,
Business
yeah,
classically
yeah. Anybody, yeah, go ahead and you might want to mute yourself. Anybody that has noise going on or whatever. Marcos, you might want to mute yourself until you want to speak or whatever.
Okay,
Because I
gotcha.
hear or yeah. So everybody.
Oh, I was just setting up the phone into the what do you call it? Like I bounced it against the screen of the computer.
No,
That's really good for the
it's all good. But I'm just explaining.
I'll mute though.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for the suggestion. So anyway, the meeting is being recorded. First I wanted to say thank you for everybody that could make it to this meeting. We did put it out there to the public, so if anybody wants it joins in later, we can get them up to speed or whatever. Just to give a little bit of a rundown, HomesNOW has been around since June of 2017 with the goal of ending homelessness one person at a time. HomesNOW manages the first two tiny home communities to exist in Bellingham, Unity Village and Swift Haven. I'm going to share my screen so I can show some pictures. This is Unity Village. It's down in Fairhaven. We started in August of 2019, so we in a few months we'll be pushing 3 years. These tiny homes were our own custom design. They were built with volunteer labor, and they are 8x12 on the inside, and then they have their own little porch and awning and stuff. And then we opened up Swift Haven in December of 2020, and so we have been there for over a year. Swift Haven started under somewhat different circumstances. Whereas with Unity Village we had our own custom design and we built them with volunteer labor and it was all private donations. Swift Haven was set up where the city owned the land, HomesNOW is the operator, and the county dropped off the structures that were 8x8 units constructed by 360 Modular. And we were able to get Swift Haven online in 2 weeks. So these are some pictures of some of the homes at Swift Haven. We are going for a 2-year permit through the City of Bellingham. Originally, Swift Haven was started under emergency authorization, as what I understand to be an executive order from the mayor, and then now we are applying for an actual temporary shelter permit, which gives us the potential for, or this permit, it seems to be for 2 years, as far as what we've been dealing with the city. Currently, HomesNOW has I want to show some, statistics, just to reiterate that so far between two villages, these are the age groups of both combined. I mean, we haven't separated it out by village yet. We will do that at some point, but between both villages, our biggest age range seems to be the 41 through 60 range, but people from other groups as well. Female 43.2%, male 56.8%, and this is people that have come through. So about 100 people have come through, and that means that once they exit the village, what happened? And that's what these statistics show. And so we have our demographics like ethnicity and exit status. So 40 right now, 47.4% of people that have come through our villages have found housing, meaning they found an apartment or a room in a house or whatever their next steps are. 37.9 were evicted and 14.7% chose to leave. Place of living. There are different the results, mostly rental rooms, 37.9%, emergency shelter, 12.6%. This includes people that have left under circumstances in which they didn't find housing, or if they found housing. So that's what this graph represents. And then 60% were not evicted, 40% were. And this is like if there's rule violation, because at the village we have rules. So we have a handbook and we have a code of conduct. So if those rules are not followed, and we're not talking iron fist here, we're talking about if somebody is seriously violating one rule or another, either constant drug or alcohol use and being disruptive to others, or if there's any kind of violence or any kind of anything like that, they are asked to leave. And it mostly has worked out, but things happen just like any other sheltering option. But those are our basic statistics or whatever where we're at right now. Both villages are a work in progress, so we aim to. We know we're not perfect, but we always aim to improve. And every day gets a little bit better. And if you come back every few weeks or every few months, you'll see improvement. And HomesNOW. Our villages are resident managed, resident run, meaning that we do not have paid staff. We are an all volunteer organization, and most of those volunteers are the residents themselves and the people who live there. And we also have our regular volunteers who come regularly, and the residents know who they are, and our board as well. Major decisions at the village are also decided democratically, so we will come together, discuss the issue as issues pop up, and then we will vote on it as a village as far as the course of action that we take, as far as our day-to-day model of how we run things. Our future goals are to set up future sites. We can scale up quickly because we do not take government money. We have taken in-kind donations from the City of Bellingham. So, for example, the City of Bellingham has helped immensely with putting in infrastructure for the sites, like electric and sewer and water, where it did not exist before. And as well as the city also donated building supplies for us to build 2 tiny homes at Unity Village, with our first tiny home village, which we worked with Habitat for Humanity to build those tiny homes. And so we ride the wave a little bit in which we do not take direct money, but if the city or the county or whoever can help with infrastructure or help with supplies for us to get to a higher level than where we're at, that we always have been in support of that and appreciate it. A little bit of also a little bit of contrast between the two villages. They got started under different circumstances. Unity Village started with, we had the city is providing the land for both sites, and it's city land, and we are very grateful for that. Unity Village was funded by private donations. We do pay our own utility bills down there. At Swift Haven, it's a little bit different. Back in 2019, or sorry, not 2019, December of 2020, there was a camp at City Hall that had like over 100 tents or whatever. It was pretty big. And the mayor was negotiating with the group that managed the site, and there was not a viable operation or operator to set up a village or set up a site to help the people that were on the lawn. So I contacted the mayor. We worked together to come up with a plan to at least help who we could as HomesNOW, because we had the resources, or we had the know-how and the resources to do it as that we've done it before. And one of the conditions that the city put out there was that 80% of the people that lived at the new village, Swift Haven, had to be on the lawn, like had to be campers that were on the lawn at City Hall. And we did that. And as far as what's on the city's I think it's still on the city's website. The village was only planned to last until April of 2021. But I think we've proven that we can that we're moving in the right direction, and that it's been stable and safe, and that we will keep improving, and we just want to help as many people as we can. So we're just trying to set up more villages, scale up. If the people that live there are the people that run it and they have the skills to run the place, then it doesn't require millions of dollars. It doesn't require significant taxpayer dollars, even if there's a little bit based on supplies or whatever. And in the meantime, we're just helping as many people as we can. I mean, if we weren't around, there would be 50 more people looking for something that might be available, might not to them, depending on their situation. I'm not saying HomesNOW model is right for everybody. It's not. But there are significant people there's significant numbers of people that have been helped that have not been helped under other models. And so we are one option of many. I also encourage the city or the county to set up more options as well, because there's more people out there that are not being served by any of the models, including ours, that need a different model as well. And so if it pops up and you guys see it on your radar, at least listen, at least look at it, and if it's doable, please do it. And I would like to, before we go into like Q&A or whatever with anybody from the neighborhood, which it looks like it's mostly people from the villages and the city, I would like the city to talk about the process, as has been discussed, of the process of this permit and what's coming next or whatever. I
need to step out. I'm sorry, guys. I will catch up with you, Doug, and find out what happened.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm sorry, but I really have to go.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, hon. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for kind of explaining kind of the history of HomesNOW and the encampments thus far. I'm going to introduce myself and allow my colleagues to maybe give brief introductions. I know that we're kind of just talking to mostly other city staff or villagers, but just in case anybody does want to tune into this video later, I'm Sarah Ullman. I'm the project planner for the temporary shelter permit. So my name is on the mail out. If you're looking to provide public comment, you can contact me. We can do a round robin, and then I'll circle back about kind of permit process and steps. There's a few other faces from City of Bellingham, so feel free to chime in.
Hi everyone, I'm Anya Gedrath. I'm also planner with the City of Bellingham, and I'm helping Sarah a little bit with the permit processing.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kurt Nabefeld, and I am the Development Services Manager for the Planning and Community Development Department. I'm also the SEPA, which is the State Environmental Policy Act responsible official, and oversee the land use and building permitting side of things. I'll turn it over to Blake to introduce himself now.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Blake Lyon. I am the newly appointed Director for Planning and Community Development for the City of Bellingham. It's a pleasure to meet those of you that I was on site meeting today, and those that I wasn't. Happy to meet this evening. So
yeah, it was good meeting you.
Very new on the job, so just learning and observing and seeing how this process is going to work. So thanks for including me.
Hey, Keith Johnson, Lieutenant with the Bellingham Police Department.
My name is Katie Sullivan, and I work for the City of Bellingham as well. Nice to see you all tonight.
Hello.
Awesome. I think that captures everybody. So I guess just to reiterate a few things that Doug had said. So Swift Haven has been operating on site since December of 2020 under an emergency license agreement. So it's kind of like a lease agreement between the city and the applicant. And like Doug was saying, that was initially proposed to just last a few months, but it's been extended sequentially over the last couple years. But the expiration date is coming up at the end of the month. And so that's why the applicant has submitted the temporary shelter permit application. And it's what we call a type 2 permit process. So kind of the distinction with that is that it gets public notice. So as Doug was touching on, the public notice gets mailed to everybody within 500 feet of the project site. In addition, what's unique about the temporary shelter permit is notice also goes out to nearby schools. And then it's also posted on our website and published in the Bellingham Herald. And also a notice sign is posted on site. Once the notice of application goes out, we kind of start the clock on a 2-week public comment period. So we're in that right now, and it ends at the end of the week, but we'll accept public comments through the duration of the permit review. The important thing about public comments is that they need to be not handwritten. They need to be word processed. So phone calls can't be included as part of the record, but we'll accept emails, we'll accept snail mail letters. You can email them to me, to permits@cob.org, you can drop them off at City Hall. And the permits or the comments are considered in the review of the permit application. We do have city code and requirements for temporary shelter permits. And so the application is reviewed against that code criteria, but of course, public comments are considered in that review. What happens with these permits, it's a pretty fast turnaround. So we're required to issue a decision within 30 days of application submittal. There is some flexibility with discussion between the applicant and the city to push that date if we need to. But for today's meeting, the takeaway is it's a 30-day turnaround. So that decision is issued with sometimes conditions to mitigate potential impacts or what have you, to better comply with code or potentially address concerns raised in public comment. Once that decision is issued, if public comments are received or if people send in like a notice for request for decision, they'll be on that list to get the mailed notice. We also post it onto our website. And the other element that I forgot to bring up with this is this project also has an environmental review. So it's a SEPA review process. So that review is done in tandem with the temporary shelter permit. And if you saw in the notice, we issued an optional determination of non-significance. So that means that there are no impacts related to this use. I can go into that into a little more detail or maybe defer to Kurt, who is the SEPA responsible official, but the takeaway is that there's kind of 2 reviews that we're doing simultaneously for this application. Appeals are to the hearing examiner, and if anybody has specific questions, I'm happy to go into that in a little more detail. And the other unique thing about this project that I wanted to highlight is that with this new permit application, the city and the applicant will be drafting a new license agreement. So like what they currently had, it's a new lease to use that land. I probably went into a few too many details, but if anybody has any questions about code or about process or opportunities to provide comment, please contact me. And the other element that I wanted to talk about was getting an attendees list from this meeting. So Doug, if you could circulate that to me, I can include that in the record. No problem. And then, awesome. Okay, does anybody have any questions for me? Cool. I might hand it back to Doug if you have any other items you'd like to discuss. Or
Walter was trying to make a comment, but Walter, can you unmute yourself?
Walter, you're muted. So there's a button to unmute you. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as far as today went, were there significant code issues that were needing to be addressed?
So I guess for those that weren't looped in, the city did a site visit today at Swift Haven. The purpose of the site visit was really just kind of information gathering. There was some staff people that were involved in the permit review that had never been to the site. And then it was just kind of a check-in to see how things were doing since things were initially up and running 2 years ago in that 2-week period, and kind of just seeing, how are things working? How can things be improved? I don't think any like firm determinations have been made, but we really, really appreciated the time y'all gave us to be on site today. So thank you.
Yeah, but once again, I was just wondering if there was something really, anything significant that stood out, because I've been working here when I'm not at my usual job, trying to improve the place, and so I want to I just want my focus to be in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I think staff are having internal discussions and trying to figure out, what are the items that we need to focus on and that can be improved upon. And yeah, I haven't been able to circle the wagons with my colleagues and kind of unpack our site visit determinations today yet.
And okay. And I wanted to I also wanted to add a little bit to that. So I mentioned it a little earlier in this meeting, but that we will not take any direct money, right? But like a lot of our issue is budget. A lot of times, like, so we have the people, we have the will to improve and build and increase whatever we have to be at the highest level of quality possible, whether that's replacing the porta potties with flushing toilets, whether that's replacing our kitchen tent and our laundry / shower tent, which are these huge tents that are normally meant for parking vehicles, with professionally constructed structures. The issue has been that everything is supposedly temporary. So we're like, okay, are we here for are we gone in 2 months? Are we staying for 2 years? We like sometimes don't have that kind of certainty. So and then it was brought up today at the we were visiting. There was I forget his name, but there was another staff member that was talking about like, well, the agreement didn't allow for building awnings or didn't allow for building decks and stuff. But then people actually come by and they're like, hey, well, this aesthetically it's not as pleasing, if we're not allowed to improve the structures or whatever. And so I'm really hoping that the city can work together to come up with it was mentioned, I think it was mentioned by Blake, that there might be something we could do where we of course I agree we have to standardize things a little bit more. We've had lumber prices were through the roof while COVID was going on, and we had a little bit of, I would say, more rinky-dink construction for some of our stuff, but we are replacing it with a more standardized design for the things like the awnings or the decks or whatever. And we ended up using pallets when we first started for that type of stuff, because we were able to get them for free when it was like it was like $50 for one sheet of plywood, and so anyway, my main point is that in the past we've worked with the city for in-kind donations of building materials or supplies, but we have the ability to pull it off and build it, but our budget is always very tight, and so for example, like the flame retardant material for the kitchen tent or the laundry tent or the dining tent, we don't have any open flame in any of those structures, but if we need the really flame retardant material for like the tarp or whatever it is for the tent, then that might be, I'm sure that's going to be pretty pricey and whatever. I mean, we can do it. We can do a fundraiser for it too. I'm just saying that like we're all about upgrades. We're not trying to have a site that is just going to be stagnant and not making progress or whatever. every time, we are a work in progress. Every single time you guys come and visit, you will see that it's improved since the last time you visited. But keep in mind, we are always on a shoestring budget, and we are all of the work we do is based on the people who live there and volunteers, and we have no paid staff of any kind.
Question, Doug.
Sorry. What is this, Sky?
Do you know if any of the companies that I contacted about the kitchen appliances have contacted you back?
They haven't contacted me back, but the Rotary Club said that they submitted the application for purchasing that, and we'll know at the end of this month whether that went through or not. If not, we'll move forward on that, or we'll seek other options. But yeah.
I can also contact those companies again because I have the names.
Find
out. But I really want to know if, like, what kind of, like, if I get something donated, are we going to be able to have enough power to actually use it? You know what I mean?
The electric is.
And I'm actually asking for an induction top stove so that we don't have any type of flame or any type of hot surface, anything like that, for fire protection as well.
Which I'm all in support of. The only issue is the electric grid issue, and the reason.
That's what I'm asked. That's what I'm kind of wondering before I even.
But there might be an option that doesn't require as much electricity or whatever. But let's say that they say yes. Okay. Then that is just another problem for us to solve. So, for example, let's say there isn't enough electrical. Maybe we'll figure out how to get solar panels with some batteries that can handle the wattage for like one entire oven with induction stovetops or whatever. Like, so if somebody's going to donate something like that to us, we'll figure out a way to make it work. We're not up the creek without a paddle, so to speak. But Blake, were you going to say something? I saw.
If I can, I just wanted to reiterate, kind of Sarah's comment, in that, at least from my perspective, and I believe that of our colleagues, today was really a great opportunity for us to go out and see the progress that you've made, what you've been doing. So to answer Walter's question a little bit as well, we know that when it was originally stood up, it was done very quickly with a very limited duration, at least in its intention and its initialization. And so this is an opportunity for us to think through what maybe those additional possibilities if there is a longer term duration in mind. So to get to your point about the code issues or other things like that, we're not specifically approaching this solely from that perspective. But this new opportunity, this new permit, allows us to expand our thought process a little bit more. So the focus is not on just getting it stood up, but what does it look like and what can we do? And so that's really where the ideas and the thought process came through about, okay, if we wanted to do something like an entry porch or a deck, what would that look like? How can we standardize some of those approaches to help, improve the quality of life, help you give, now that we have a little bit more certainty in mind. So again, it was really an opportunity for us to see kind of what the current state was, think through this new permitting process, and open up the conversation a little bit about what this next process might be. And that can be involving permitting issues and construction related issues, but time will tell when we come to that. So I just wanted to kind of make those comments. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, no problem.
And like all of that is exactly what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Then I'm going to know which direction, how much focus, and exactly how semi-permanent of a structure can be put in place. I mean, this is going to determine everything, and so
I think from my perspective, and I think for that from the city, we talked a little bit about having a communication strategy and making sure we understood how to open that line of dialogue and conversation. So So as you're doing that work and as we're involved in this conversation, we can have that dialogue as well. So I view this as a start of a conversation, not necessarily just a one-time scenario.
That's
Cool.
great. I like it.
So Lindy, this brings me on to the next point. We're at kind of, I guess, at the section of Q&A. And Lindy asked a question of what could the village do to bring value to the community? I think that the village is already bringing value to the community. I mean, there are people that do quite well at the village that would normally be in the woods or would be at an emergency shelter. We care about the community at the village and outside the village. The community of Bellingham and Whatcom County is extremely generous. We get people who come to the gate every single day to donate stuff. We also make sure to clean up around our site, not just inside the gates, but outside the gates. And we want to keep the neighborhood safe. And I believe the previous police chief has said that we have that where we've been hosted, that crime has gone down in the surrounding neighborhood. I don't know what the Keith. Do you have any insight on that? Have there been any major issues as far as criminal stuff from our presence there, as far as community goes, or has it been okay? Or
I don't have any stats. I can just speak generally that at both sites we've been pleasantly surprised with how little that we've had to respond there, and you guys are able to kind of take care of things. It's been great.
Thank you.
And may I make
a
comment? May I make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to speak about Swift Haven. Ability to take people that for the most part may have been on the street for quite a while, living that life. Living at Swift Haven gives the resident run village a chance to work together diplomatically to reacclimate to neighborhood kind of living. And I broke it down into 3 different aspects of how we actually socially, how we socially support each other, as well as support ourselves individually and socially within the village. What we really focus on mostly is self and social responsibility, as well as which leads to self and social pride, and which are things that are really lacking in people who they're lacking a source to actually get that. And Swift Haven does provide that ability to be responsible if you want, and the ability to be proud of what you've achieved. So it has a lot of healing qualities as well from the social aspect of it. So that's what I wanted to say. Shoot!
A few of our neighbors, that ladies that do crafts here, we were actually thinking about wanting to do like a little shop where some of us make jewelry, or because I have a Cricut, I can make t-shirts, I can make all kinds of different stuff with my machine. And
Sky?
Yes.
It actually is called the Trailhead Market on Facebook.
What?
We already have
when you're in the same room as Walter with the audio, and both of you are unmuted, it creates a double echo and we can't hear you.
Thank you. I figured it out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Crud. Never mind. Just.
Okay.
No, but I was we were thinking about possibly opening a booth at the farmers market.
No, that would be cool.
Maybe. You know what I mean? And have some of us, we can make different things, because I know Nancy makes jewelry. I make jewelry as well, earrings, because my machine cuts leather and stuff like that. So there's the possibilities are endless that we can, promote community presence, I guess you could say, with the things that, you know what I mean, that make us
The
look
crafts that
somewhat
you guys can do.
productive. The somewhat productive, that we just don't sit here and do nothing and collect dust.
Right. I'd also like to open the floor for anybody else that'd like to say something, if anybody else wants to comment or whatever. Okay. All right.
Well, as soon as we get our pool table up and running, you are all invited to play pool.
Yeah, and feel free to come by, unannounced. I mean, we're transparent. I mean, we're, like the gates are open during the day, and the fence is open, so we can't hide anything even if we wanted to. So if you guys are in the neighborhood and you're driving by, anybody from the neighborhood or the city or whatever, feel free to just stop in and wave and say hi and whatever. I know I've seen Keith come in from time to time. I didn't know he was coming in, and it's like, oh hey dude, what's up? So all good. Okay. So if there is nobody else that would like to say anything or make a comment or have a question, then I guess we are good to go. Perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Doug. Just maybe, and I should know this after 2 years of virtual meetings, but how do you do a meeting roster? I'm hoping that you can get that from your.
What I have, the way that I do it is that I take a screenshot of the participants list that is in this meeting when the greatest number of people were in the meeting, and I'll send you that screenshot, so you'll have the roster as a screenshot, and so I already have that for you. So
Okay.
I'll send it right away.
And maybe in the chat, I'm going to put my phone and email in case anybody wanted to contact me with any questions or comments on this permit.
Okay, sounds good. And this video will be uploaded, so your email and your number will be right there, and we'll have it in the description of the video as well. So thank you.
Yep. Hold on. I put it in wrong.
It's all good.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
You.
Yep. Oh, and Lindy, I saw your comment at the end there. A garage sale sounds great. I don't know what items, but we'll talk about it. So have a great night. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.